Hey, football fanatics, welcome to NeuroFootball. The UEFA Champions League third qualifying round first legs brought pure chaos, last gasp penalties, shock upsets, and goal fests. Qarabağ stunned Slovan with a 90th minute penalty. Rangers crushed Polzig and Feyenoord edged Fenerbahce in a thriller. With playoff spots on the line and Europa League playoffs awaiting the losers, we're breaking down all 10 matches, from Almaty to Glasgow, who's heading to the Champions League playoffs. Drop your predictions in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay locked into NeuroFootball for more European football madness. Let's dive in. So, let's start with the match between Almaty's Kairat and Slovakian Slovan from Bratislava. We always expect the teams to exchange goals. It would seem that the first half of the duel between the Kazakhs and the Slovaks was not the case, because the only exchange was yellow cards. But Kairat still managed to squeeze out a narrow victory over Slovan. The Kazakhs snatched it in the 90th minute thanks to a penalty kick. The 16-year-old Dastan Satpi, who will join Chelsea in the summer of 2026, scored the penalty for the hosts. As a result, with a score of 1-0, the Kazakh club wins its first ever match in the third qualifying round of the Champions League. Well, congratulations to the team on this success. In another match, Bulgaria's Ludogorets and Hungary's Ferencváros were unable to determine which team was stronger. The teams failed to score against each other in 90 minutes, ending in a scoreless 0-0 draw. Thus, everything will be decided in the return match in Hungary. Who do you think will advance to the next stage? Polish club Lech and Serbian club Crvena Zvezda faced off in a battle for a place in the playoffs. The match got off to a lively start, with the Serbs opening the scoring early on. Endia made a precise pass to Krunic, who shot into the bottom right corner of the goal from the penalty area. However, the response was not long in coming. In the 34th minute, Ishak received a superb pass into the penalty area and shot accurately into the goal from a sharp angle at the start of the second half. Lech controlled the game, but it was the Serbs who managed to score the second goal. Krunic coolly took advantage of his opportunity, and just 20 minutes later, the third goal flew into the Polish goal and was scored by Bruno Duarte. Thus, no more goals were scored until the end of the match. Crvena Zvezda maintained a 2-goal advantage, winning 3-1. In another match, French club Nice faced Portuguese club Benfica. Ukrainian goalkeeper Anatoly Trubin started for Benfica and played the entire match without conceding a goal. In the first half, the Portuguese had several chances, in particular after a free kick by Richard Rios and a shot by Pavlidis from a playing position. However, the Nice goalkeeper kept the defense intact. The score opened in the 53rd minute of the game. Fredrik Jurssons received the ball on the right flank from Amar Dekic and crossed into the goal area, where Frangia Ivanovic was left unmarked and beat the goalkeeper with a diving header. Nice was ultimately unable to mount an attack until the end of the match, for which it was punished a second time. Nice goalkeeper Diop had a decent game overall, but he didn't see Florentin's shot from 25 meters. The goalkeeper was blocked by his teammates and did not have time to react, ultimately conceding the second goal of the match. 2-0. Benfica is making a serious bid to advance to the next round. However, we are not writing off the return match. In Austria, local team Red Bull Salzburg hosted Brugge in the first leg. You could have been late for the first half of this match, because all the excitement happened in the second half. The teams shifted gears a bit, and halfway through the second 45 minutes, Brugge opened the scoring. The fate of this match was decided by a single goal, scored by Romeo Verman from a pass by Björn Meyer in the 75th minute of the game. The result was 1-0, so in a week's time we can look forward to the return match in Belgium, where the result will need to be defended. In another match, Dynamo Kyiv began the third round with a difficult game against Paphos FC from Cyprus. In the first half, Dynamo created the most dangerous moment in the 36th minute. During a 3-on-2 counter-attack, Dubenchuk shot from outside the penalty area but hit the post. 5 minutes later, Venat headed the ball after a cross from a set piece, but the ball flew over the goal. In the second half, the Kyiv team continued to press. In the 55th minute, Yarmolenko ran down the wing and passed to Dubenchuk, but he was unable to connect with a pass start in the 62nd minute. The referee awarded a penalty against Paphos after contact between Lucasen and Venat, but after reviewing the VAR, the decision was overturned. The key moment came in the 84th minute of the game, when Paphos launched a quick counter-attack. Anderson beat Dubenchuk and shot past Nisharet to open the scoring. Then, Paphos goalkeeper Mikhail Neophytos was injured and unable to continue the game, which led to a delay in the match. In the end, despite Dynamo's attempts to equalize, the team failed to capitalize on their chances and suffered a 1-0 defeat, complicating their chances of advancing to the next round of Champions League qualifying. While the return match will ultimately decide the outcome. In another match, Mount hosted Copenhagen. The Scandinavian derby turned out to be boring and dull, ending in a goalless draw. The teams managed only one shot on target for the entire match. The visitors were responsible for this feat, but despite the fairly even play, the Danes had as many as 7 corners, while the Swedes never forced their opponents to clear the ball behind the goal line. Well, 0-0, it is obvious that the players have postponed all their scoring shots for the return match, which will take place in the Danish capital. In another match, Macedonian side Skandeja lost at home to Qarabağ. The Azerbaijanis took the lead before the halfway point of the first half. Webster fouled in his penalty area. The referee reviewed the video replay and pointed to the spot from which Beramov scored into the right corner. Soon Krasniki could have equalized, but he curled the ball against the left post, and Zubir's shot in response was saved by the Macedonian goalkeeper. In the middle of the second half, Qarabağ's Polish goalkeeper Kachalski saved his team by pulling out a header under the CROSSBAR. As a result, the Azerbaijanis held on to their 1-0 victory and will be in good spirits when they host their opponents on their home turf, where, as we know, they play much stronger. Scottish Rangers crushed Czech side Victoria Plzeňka on their home turf. The hero of the game was Gidi Gassama, who scored twice, finding the back of the Czech net in each half. Another goal was scored just before halftime from a penalty kick, but a foul by Matej Vidra. Immediately after that, Diamandi missed an excellent chance to increase the Scots' lead, hitting the crossbar. However, 3 goals were enough to make the return match in the Czech Republic a training session with increased responsibility for Russell Martin's team. And, perhaps, one of the most interesting matchups of the third round was the clash between Dutch side Feyenoord and Turkish side Fenerbahçe. The hosts started the match more actively, which allowed them to open the scoring fairly quickly. Timber moved from the wing into the penalty area in the middle of a half and immediately took a shot. Although the shot was not strong, the ricochet disoriented the Turkish goalkeeper and prevented him from making the save. Before the break, Fenerbahçe players responded with a goal of their own, but the referee disallowed it due to offside. In the second half, Fenerbahçe coach Jose Mauricio responded with substitutions that were supposed to change the course of the game. Even valuable newcomer John Duran took the field. However, Robin van Persie also freshened up the game and sent 5 new players onto the field. 5 minutes before the end of regular time, Fenerbahçe scored in response thanks to Amrabat. The Moroccan player's powerful shot hit the crossbar, but in the end, Morindo's team was unable to hold on to the draw. The boss's pass, compensated for by the referee's added time, found its target. Haj Musa headed in the pass and put the Dutch team back in front. As a result, Van Persie's team beat Jose Morindo's team 2-1 and made the second match even more interesting. What a round of Champions League qualifying, Kairat's last gasp penalty, Rangers' 3-0 rout, Feyenoord's late drama, and more have set the stage for epic return legs. From Almaty to Glasgow, the race to the playoffs is heating up, with the Europa League looming for the losers. Who's your favorite to advance, Crvena Zvezda or Feyenoord? Will underdogs like Paphos pull off more shocks? Thank you for joining NeuroFootball. Drop your hottest takes in the comments. Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for our return leg breakdown. Follow us for daily football vibes. Until next time, keep the passion alive, and let's chase Champions League glory.